In this short video, I just want to cover how to lay out your props in the sequencer and explain the render order and priority that xLights does when rendering your sequence. So if you right click on one of your props and select edit display elements, you'll see the order. Now, all things being equal, the best bet initially is to right click and select sort, and what I do is order by name but groups at top by size, and what that will do, that will move any groups to the top of this render order. Now, there is some exceptions to this. I create a couple of special groups. If you notice at the top here, I've got things like everything, all house, with singing props, all house. And then at the bottom, I have a couple of all houses as well. And I've just put in brackets override. And I'll explain why that is the case in a moment. So if we now look at my sequence here, if I was to put an effect on everything, if we click here, you can see that effect is affecting the entire house. Now, what happens is with xLights, it will go down all of your props, and when I say props, I'm talking about even things like ones that contain multiple props. So it will look at this line first and think, okay, I've got to put a shockwave effect on the props that are contained within this all group. And then it goes down. So you can see a shockwave is being applied to arches here as well, as it has been applied to everything. So if I now scroll down and come to say all arches, which is here, okay, and I put an on effect on the arches, you can see now that the shockwave effect is being obliterated by the all arches effect. So what's happened, it renders that, and then it comes down here and it says, okay, but this now takes priority, and it will override. There is ways to prevent this, but that's not the discussion at the moment. It's just to show you what is happening. However, it doesn't completely obliterate it in all cases. This is an on effect, so it will be obliterating every pixel, because this is turning every pixel on in the prop. But if I was to say put something like a single strand effect on the arches, you can see it's overriding it where it needs to, but anything where pixels were not turned on, the effect above still applies. So effectively, you want to order your props in the groups at the top, because usually you want those to be overridden by individual effects that you do in special effects on the individual props. You imagine you've got, say, the house beating to the entire music, but you've also got some props doing, like a left to right motion on arches and things like that. You still want that to be to work. If these were the opposite way around, it would be a case that the shockwave effect would take priority over this, not in this case, because it works down. Now, I said I'd explain why I create a couple of groups at the bottom that are all groups. There's sometimes when, for a specific thing, like there might be an explosion or a big heavy drum beat in a song, that I want this animation here on the arches or on the entire house completely overridden. So if I put an effect on the all house here, I'll make it white. Oh no, I'll leave it green because I've blocked my menu. You can see now that shockwave is being completely obliterated. The only reason it's not obliterating the tree and the singing props is this override doesn't include those. So you can see now, if this was a pulse, the entire house is being obliterated by this effect. Okay, so that's the standard render order. However, there is a slight fly in the ointment, is once we get to within layers within a prop itself, it does not go top down. It then operates in the reverse order. So if we look here, this effect is lower priority than this effect. So what will happen, it will render this effect first on the mega tree, then it will render this one, then it will render this one. And you can see that is happening on the mega tree here. We've got a musical effect, which you cannot witness at the moment. But then we've got this pulsing type effect. And then we've got this snow effect as well. So just remember, at the global level, the lower down the prop, the higher the priority. So that will take priority. But once you're within a prop, it's the opposite direction. So it goes from bottom to top. I hope that was understandable. And until next time, see you later.